What's happening, my friends? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. That's all. Miscast, hashtag JBT. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. Salute Ray Patterson. Tim Layton, hashtag JBT. Also straight out of New Jersey. Salute Tim Layton. Excuse me. Mike Masick. Excuse me, can't get my throat cleared up. Salute Mike Masick. Salute to everyone. And welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Box Historian. This is the Tuesday afternoon edition. Still early in the week. You know, if it's Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock, it's the Box Historian. And that's me, your friendly neighborhood box historian. Back for some more boxing history. Today, we are going to talk about ring generalship. Ring generalship is one of the main criteria that judges use to judge fights. So, the guy that's controlling the action in the ring, usually the guy that wins the fight. Bruce Gas, boxing, jazz, and more in the building. Salute, Bruce Gas. Welcome to another episode of Cat Sports. Al Booker in the building. What's up, AB? BN Boxing News in the building. Salute, BN Boxing News. Another Fire JBT channel. Welcome to another episode of Cat Sports. We are talking about ring generalship today. And we're going to talk about some of the best ring generals. Some of the guys that use that entire ring, use their footwork and movement to control the ring. And like I just said, the better ring general or the guy that controls the action in the ring, where it's fought at, when the engagement is taking place, all that type of all those type of things is normally the guy that wins the fight, because ring generalship is one of the big criteria that judges use, along with effective aggression. You know, a lot of people say, well, this guy was the more aggressive, so he wasn't around, but that's not true. It's got to be effective aggression. You know, are you landing clean punches without getting countered? That's effective aggression. But we're talking about ring generalship today. But how's everybody this Tuesday afternoon? It's a pro box week. We got the Matrix coming up this weekend. Finally got to Australia. Remember, before Devin went those 2 times, it was supposed to be Loma. But Loma went to the war. But now, we are finally getting him and Kambosos in the ring. I think it's going to be the same result now that it was going to be then. Yeah. But this is Cat Sports, your local box story. Bring you all that boxing history. It's a pro box week, too. Yep. Got Pro Box tomorrow. I'm not sure yet what the show is going to be on tomorrow, but I know Thursday is going to be a history of boxing in Japan, because we never did that when we did a lot of different countries like Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba, the Philippines, United States, but we didn't do Japan. We had a big fight out of Japan yesterday, remember? The Monster. The Monster got it done. Got up off the mat and then took over the fight. And then Friday, it's going to be the profile. It's going to be Salvador Sanchez. That was by request of Trump. Trump. Hopefully he'll be in here. I told him last Friday. He normally shows up for the profiles too. But Salvador Sanchez, just amazing what he did in a short period of. Well, he started at 16, but his career ended at 23. Remember, had that fatal car accident, and still had a legendary career. Got nowhere near his prime. Still thought of. He's in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Still thought of as one of the best featherweights ever. Man, if he'd have got him into his prime, would have been to his 30s, there would be no argument. He would be the man, featherweight. Still, arguably is. And his career ended at 23 years old. Isn't that something? But we're going to be talking about him Friday, his life and career. Salvador Sanchez. Yeah. Him and Wilfredo Gomez is thought by many to be the beginning of the Mexico-Puerto Rico rivalry. Salvador Sanchez wasn't the first one, the Mexican. Of course, Wilfredo Gomez was the Puerto Rican representative in that one. But it was a good fight, but Salvador stopped him in the 8th round. Yeah. I remember they had, I think it was Larry Holmes and some other boxer was commentating, and they was saying that Salvador was going to watch Wilfredo, but Wilfredo represented himself pretty well in that fight. But yeah, that's amazing just to think of what Salvador Sanchez would have been if he hadn't had that fatal car accident at 23 years old. Wow. Just thinking that the man got nowhere near his prime and still in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Still thought as a legendary fighter. Still thought of as one of the best featherweights ever. He did all that. And he was just 23 years old when his career ended. But we'll get into that a lot more on Friday. Then, of course, Pro Box tomorrow. And Thursday is the history of boxing in Japan. Is everybody okay this Tuesday afternoon? Ring Generalship. Yeah, we're going to talk about a bunch of guys that were great ring generals. You know, like Ali, Floyd Mayweather, of course, Willie Pep, and a few others. Nicolino Loesch, Rigondeaux, those guys. Of course, you know Sugar Ray Robinson is on there. Lomachenko. I don't usually include current fighters, but Lomachenko is such a good ring general. I had to put him in there. I couldn't leave, because when you're talking about ring generalship, the Matrix has to come to mind. And he's still fighting this weekend, as a matter of fact. Yeah, you'll see some of that ring generalship when he's in there against Cambosa. Loma's gonna control the action. Probably get a 12-round decision. Loma still got it. See what it did it with, it was a great fight with Devin. I thought Devin edged it out, but it was a great fight. And other than 135, Sakura, Tank, I would pick Loma over a lot of those youngsters down there at 135. Somebody mentioned yesterday, I forgot who, Remo, mentioned Loma and the Monster. That's the first time I heard that one at 130. Yeah, Loma I believe he could make 130 easy. He's a small 135, very small 135. That would be, I don't know, between Loma and Monster. Probably Monster, but think about a Loma in his prime against Monster. That would be a great fight. But by the time Monster could work his way up to 130, I don't even know if Loma would be still around, because he's definitely on the downslope of his career. But yeah, he's one of the ring generals I'm going to talk about today. Yep, with Lomachenko, the Matrix. or High Tech, Guillermo, Rigondeaux, those guys. We're going to get into it about 10 minutes. Let a few more of my friends get in here. I know Lonnie Lee is coming. There's Let's Talk Fashion. Remo in the building. Ring Generalship today. Let's Talk Fashion. How are you this afternoon? Beautiful weather where I'm at. We're in Baltimore. Jory Faints, hashtag JBT in the building. Salute Jory Faints. I'm not sure what the show is going to be tomorrow. I got to look at it, but I know Thursday is History of Boxing in Japan, and Friday is Salvador Sanchez. Bad man. You know, when they're talking about the greatest Mexican fighters of all time, Salvador got to be in the conversation. And again, if he wouldn't have had that fatal car accident at 23, went into his prime, had an entire career, I would have him, no doubt, the greatest Mexican boxer of all time. Still thought of as legendary. So that's something to think about. Julio Cesar, Chavez, Canelo, all them guys, man. No, they wouldn't even be in the conversation if Salvador had kept going. No way. Who else is on that Lomachenko card this weekend, I wonder? I know one of the Maloney brothers is on it. The other one, I think it's Andrew. Jason lost his title the other night, but he almost pulled it out. That was something. That guy was just fade by the bell. The Japanese kid, oh man. Jason caught him in that 12th round and just ran out of time. And when the bell rang, looked like the guy was about ready to drop. I really thought Jason was going to get him. But he just 5 more seconds. Not 20, not 10, 5 more seconds. I think the guy would have went down because he was done. He was done. Jason could have just caught him a little early. But salute to everybody. Appreciate everybody rocking with me again for another episode of Cast Sports, the Box Story. Ring Generalship. One of the main criteria the judges use to score fights. It made me think about Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard went in there and fought Duran's fight. So, you know, Duran had to get points for that. You know, because the entire fight was fought in Duran's style. Sugar Ray didn't do his normal movement. None of that. But still did very well. Still a close fight. So Ring Generalship had a lot to do with that fight. Duran was definitely the ring general. Kept Sugar Ray on the ropes. Just aggressive. And then also we're going to talk about defense because that's a part of it. And we're going to talk about some good defensive fighters too. The ring generalship and defense. Because like they say, defense wins championships in sports. And boxing is included in that. Like Willie Pep used to say, hit and run away, live to fight another day. That was one of his sayings. And that's the way he fought. Okay. I would say when it comes to the best defensive fighters, the top 3 I would give it to would be Floyd, Mayweather Jr., Pernell Whitaker, and Willie Pep. Okay. Not necessarily in that order, but those 3. Willie Pep was a wizard when it came to defense. All you got to do is Google him and go look at some of his old fights. You'll see what I'm talking about. And we're going to talk about him today. We're going to do a profile on him coming up pretty soon, too. Yep. Let's salute to everybody. what to say? Mr. No Nonsense himself. Oh no, yeah. Well, yeah. I guess that's me. That's another name. Cash Sports, aka the Boxstorian, aka 2 o'clock Shorty, aka the guy that ducks the old timer show on Sunday, and aka Mr. No Nonsense. Yup, I fit all of them. Yeah, but I mean, it's one thing to have an intelligent debate and disagree, but it's another thing to just be saying a bunch of stupid shit. Okay, that's not intelligent debate. And when you start that here, you got to go. Sorry. That's just what it is. That's all. I can't help it. But thank you for that new name, Mr. No Nonsense. I like that. Because some of my other members of the JBT will say, don't block them. Don't block them. I say block their ass. Or if some of the moderators don't do it, I'll do it myself. But we're going to get ready to get into this ring generalship today. Who else is on that card? Anybody know? I know one of the Maloney brothers over there in Australia. They finally got Loma over there. That was supposed to be him and Cambosos. But it still wouldn't have been for undisputed. Cambosos wasn't undisputed. But everybody okay? We got Lonnie Lee coming in a minute or two. I mean, about 5 minutes. He gets off at 2:30. That's why I always wait. He's here every day, so he deserves to get as much, not to start at 2 and then he missed a whole half hour. Big time supporter. Yeah, there's a lot of good big time supporters. I don't need 100,000. I didn't do this to get rich and get 100,000 supporters. I do it because I just love to talk boxing. That's all. I used to be on here talking to myself. Miss Cass wasn't even here in the beginning. It was just me. So it's all good. Forget what you heard. It's all good. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Hey, let me stop. Let's get ready to talk about ring generalship. Like I said, one of the criteria that the judges use to judge fights, along with defense and you have to be scoring clean, effective punches. And just because you're being aggressive, that doesn't mean you're winning the round because you're the aggressor. You got to be effective aggression then. You got to be scoring and not getting countered. Like perfect example was the fight between Hitchens and what is it, Lemos? Richardson Hitchens and Daniel Lemos. Now Daniel Lemos was very aggressive throughout the entire fight. But during that aggression, Hitchens was piecing him up. So that wasn't effective aggression. It was just aggression. And just aggression that means nothing. It's not supposed to mean anything to the judges. It's got to be effective aggression. That's why Hitchens won. Because Lemos' aggression wasn't effective a lot of the time. Okay. But it's ring generalship today. Okay. Tuesday afternoon, still early in the week. Oh, we got a hashtag Let's Talk Fashion tomorrow. Yeah. I know Remo's at work, but if he's still around at 3:45, we're going to take an early look at it. Yeah, 3:45, 3:45. At tomorrow's hashtag Let's Talk Fashion, get an early look, see what the show is about. So we know what to expect when we get in there tomorrow. NBA playoffs going on. And it's your playoffs going on too, right? We got baseball, boxing. What a time to be a sports fan. Just a great time to be a sports fan. And boxing is off the chain. And we was asking the question, could 2024 top 2023? I think we can answer that with yes. from what we had and what's on the schedule coming up, yes, 2024 will top 2023. I'm still waiting on the Bam Rodriguez and Juan Francisco Estrada fight. I think that's, I don't know if it's May 29th or June 29th. It's the 29th or something. Then an August 3rd card, man. We got the Face of Boxing next month. We just had Canelo, the former Face of Boxing. Right? Yeah. 2024 is going to do it, our brother. Yeah. And then we don't know what we got coming in the fall. From what we've had and what's on the schedule so far, we'll top it. And then we still got September. August so far is August 3rd, that big card. We got the rest of August, and then September, October, November, December to add to it. So, no doubt, 2024 is going to do it. Okay. But ring generalship. Bear with me for 1 second. I'm never ready when 2:30 gets here. Sitting here running my mouth. But I'll be ready in a minute. It's only 2:29. Lonnie Lee is coming. Okay, here we go. Ring generalship. Now, boxing ring generalship is a technical term, right? And it's used to describe the control of the action inside the ring. That's what ring generalship is. It's used to describe the control of the action inside the ring. Now, using a combination of footwork and punching, a boxer will use ring generalship to gain an advantage, okay? And gain an advantageous position in order to land clean punches, or to force his opponent to move and react in a specific way. Now, with ring generalship, a fighter can dictate the pace of the action. He can maneuver his opponent and move them where they want them to be without the opponent even realizing it. Don't even realize he's being maneuvered, okay? That's what a good ring general can do. Can also bait your opponent into throwing certain punches, lay traps until you have them cornered, or get them against the ropes. Miss Cass was talking about that, that's part of ring generalship. Maneuver them into the ropes, okay? And you can also make your opponent chase you until they tire, okay? Goad them into launching an attack, and you disappear from range. Now, like I was saying, ring generalship is one of the main scoring criteria in a professional boxing match, okay? And that makes it one of the most important aspects of a fight. Now, like I said earlier, the fighter who controls the ring usually controls the fight, right? And comes out on top. That is so true. The fighter that controls the ring usually controls the fight and comes out on top. Ring generalship. Now, there's a lot that goes into a boxing match at the elite levels. Now, boxing, it doesn't just involve punches and aggression. But, it involves science that goes into it as well, okay? What they call it, the sweet science. And with all that's going on in the ring, when you look at boxing from a scientific point of view, you understand that the core beneath the many layers of movement is footwork, right? Let me say that again. When you look at boxing from a scientific point of view, you understand that the core beneath the many layers of movement is footwork. Okay? Footwork plays a major role in boxing, both offensively and defensively. It's about having the ability to glide across the ring and move your feet harmoniously to the unique rhythms of fighting. So without footwork, fighters would be flat-footed, forward plodding, and highly predictable, right? And throughout history, numerous fighters have shown exceptional footwork. And these elite boxers we're going to talk about today, they dance around their opponents gracefully, gliding across the ring with little to no effort. Now, movement is one of the aspects of boxing that often sets the great boxers apart from the rest. Skilled boxers can use movement to dodge punches, change angles, and switch between attack and defense smoothly. And over the years, a lot of champions have amazed fans with their fast footwork and dodging. And these boxers we're going to talk about today stood out for their offensive and defensive movement in the ring. Oh my goodness. I don't even have my slide presentation ready. Let me go up here. We're going to get ready to talk about some of these ring generals now. You know, they use movement, footwork, and punching to control the ring. Ring generalship. Okay. Let me drop that a level. Told y'all that's why I miss bare knuckles, because he would have been told me to turn it down a long time ago. As soon as I got started, bare knuckles would have said, turn that down. Sheesh. That's what he told me. He said, sheesh, Cash, turn that down. I think Remo was in there. You heard him. And I turned it down. Okay, here we go. First is going to be Muhammad Ali, okay? Oh, wow, I got a big slide presentation today. But the first ring general is Muhammad Ali, the greatest. There he is. Anybody else come into the building? Okay. Muhammad Ali. Not Floyd Mayweather, not yet. Okay. Well, let's do this. Now, Muhammad Ali's footwork and lightning fast hands made him a formidable and elusive opponent in the ring. Now, Floyd Mayweather, his defensive skills and impeccable timing frustrated opponents and established him as one of the greatest defensive fighters in history. Then Sugar Ray Robinson's exceptional lateral movement and graceful footwork gave him an advantage over his opponents, leading to his status as one of the best boxers ever. Okay, those were three of the best ring generals: Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay. Now, Muhammad Ali. Let's talk about Muhammad. Now, Ali became famous for his fighting style, right? Had an evasive style, and it made him a tricky opponent to catch and difficult to fight against. And he was the originator of the Ali Shuffle. Ali was one of the flashiest showmen in the history of boxing. Ali's excellent footwork and agility helped him show incredible finesse when dodging punches. In a fight against Cleveland Williams in 1966, get this, Ali only got hit 10 times in 3 rounds. That's about what, 3 times a round. 10 times in 3 rounds. Amazing. Mike Rim in the building. Salute Mike Rim. Everybody's hitting an appreciation button. In the JBT, we call the like button the appreciation button. And I would certainly appreciate it if everybody would hit it. That's all. And everybody is. Appreciate you. Now, yeah, in 1966, in a fight against Cleveland Williams, Ali got hit 10 times in 3 rounds. Okay? Amazing. And like I was saying, his incredible agility allowed him to glide effortlessly in the ring. A rare trait for heavyweights, okay? This man was a heavyweight and moved like a middleweight. And he's widely regarded as the greatest heavyweight boxer ever. His cornerman, Boondini Brown, said it best. Remember what Boondini used to say? Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And that ended up becoming one of the most famous quotes in all of sports, not just boxing, all of sports. And Ali did just that for most of his career. You know, and became known as a slick boxer with elegant footwork. The way he moved around the ring. For a heavyweight now, he often danced around his opponents with unmatched poise and finesse. He believed his opponents frozen with his footwork. Then he would crack them with that big right hand. And Ali's fantastic footwork and lightning fast hands made him an all-time great in boxing, widely known as the greatest, Muhammad Ali. Let's take a look at Roy Jones Jr. Okay, here's Roy, just incredible. Remember Roy early in his career. Roy used to do things that a boxer just not supposed to do and get away with it because of athleticism. Now, Roy's distinctive style was truly captivating. He combined speed, agility, and athleticism, what I was just talking about. And inside the ring, Roy proved to be a formidable force, thanks to his rapid movements and the capacity to unleash potent combinations. And he had a remarkable ability to effortlessly navigate in and out of striking range, showcasing a fluidity and finesse that set him apart in the world of boxing. Now, he showed his athleticism in his most notable fights against James Toney and Bernard Hopkins. Roy's agility and footwork helped him dominate the fight against Toney. He easily dodged punches and landed precise combinations. And his quick reflexes and evasive footwork helped him in the fight against Hopkins. Roy Jones. Next is Nicolino Loche. There he is. Old school. Called himself the Untouchable. That's what he called himself. The Untouchable. And he earned this nickname for his incredible defensive skills. untouchable. And he was perfect at moving his head and feet quickly. And those moves enabled him to evade and elude punches with remarkable precision, very effectively. His ability to make opponents miss their target was extraordinary. His win against Antonio Cervantes, for example, was particularly remarkable. This victory demonstrated Loesch's defensive mastery, and it also showcased his ability to counter and outmaneuver his opponents strategically. Nicolino Loesch. Now we come to the Matrix. Vasyl Lomachenko, the Matrix, high tech, whatever you want to call it. E-Class in the building. What's up, E-Class? I saw you yesterday. You arrived right at the end of the show. But salute to E-Class. He's early today. E-Class says, Roy Jones Jr. was a beautiful boxer. Yes, he was, E-Class. Beautiful. That athleticism set him apart, man. He used it to perfection. But salute E-Class. We're going to talk about Vasyl Lomachenko. And I don't usually talk about current boxers, but you doing ring generalship and footwork and all that stuff. I just couldn't leave Lomachenko out. Just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Now, he was extensively trained by his father, Anatoly Lomachenko, from a very young age. Now, he still has a ways to go with his career before he can be on point with the other fighters on this list. But he certainly has the talent to get him to that upper echelon of greats eventually. He would definitely be there. I think if he's retired right now, he's in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Had what he had, like 400 amateur fights, something like that. Now, right now, Lomachenko's footwork may be some of the best footwork in the history of boxing. Right now, he's still fighting. We're going to see him Saturday, as a matter of fact. Right now, I put his footwork top 5. Okay, Lomachenko. Now, he's good at moving smoothly and changing angles with his footwork, using footwork. And that confuses his opponents. That's the kind of footwork that earned him his nicknames, the Matrix and High Tech. And he is definitely, these moves has definitely got him established as one of the elite fighters of this current era that we're in right now. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, Emmanuel, the drunken master. Yeah, he was up there, Remo. He used to dance in the ring. The drunken master. Wasn't that his name? The drunken master? Yeah. I called him something else one time. I think Mike Masick or Mike Rim corrected me. I called him the dancing master. One of the mics corrected me. Yeah, I was saying for the entire show, the dancing master. But it was the drunken master. Right. But yeah, Lomachenko is definitely one of the elite fighters of this current era. Just because of these moves, you know, using the footwork on the angles and all that type of stuff that he does, yeah. And as a child, he was forced to stop boxing by his father, stop his boxing training, to give way to Russian dance lessons. Because his father, Anatoly, knew the importance of footwork in boxing. And he wasn't going to allow Lomachenko to proceed until he learned how to fight. He wasn't going to let him proceed with his boxing training unless he knew how to move his feet properly first, okay? So yeah, his father took him out of boxing totally when he was young and had him doing Russian dance, you know, ballet, yep. Now his impressive agility and movement in the ring stood out in his fights against Jorge Linares and Rigondeaux, who's on this list. Yeah. Now we come to Floyd. Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. Is money. Trump in the building. Just Do Boxing, The Voice, and Coach Thomas Morris, all in the building. Salute Just Do Boxing, coming up at 4 o'clock. Trump, Salvador Sanchez, profile is Friday, like you requested. Okay, so make sure you come by for that. Anybody else have any kind of shows or profile you'd like to see me do? Let me know. Put it in the chat. Is it in there, Remo? Put it in the chat. Damn it. Just kidding. And salute Coach Thomas Morris in the building. Anybody need a personal trainer? That's your man. That man trained Ronnie Lott. Okay. So if Ronnie Lott headed for a personal trainer, he must know what he's doing. No doubt. Salute Coach Thomas Morris. What's this? Yeah. E-Class, Coach Thomas Morris, and Just Do Boxing in the building. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. We're at Money. Floyd Money Mayweather. Or Pretty Boy. Floyd Pretty Boy / Money Mayweather Jr. Now Floyd is most famously known for his great defense. Like I was saying at the top of the show, I put Floyd, Pernell Whitaker, and Willie Pepper at the top as far as defense. You know, you can pick any one of them three in any order. Yeah. As far as the best defensively, yeah. Yeah, Trump. It's going to be a good one too. I'll make sure it's going to be good. Okay. Now Floyd is most known for his great defense, his impeccable timing, and unorthodox shoulder roll. Okay, remember that shoulder roll? Now, these skills have made him very successful in the sport of boxing. Okay, Floyd masterfully picked his shots with his shoulders he picked off shots with his shoulders and forearms, and then smashed his opponents with accurate and powerful counters. That was a work of art to see Floyd do that. Use that shoulder roll and his shoulders and forearms to block shots, and then come back with those counters. That was a thing of beauty, work of art. And two of Floyd's most notable fights were against Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya. His defensive prowess allowed him to slip punches with exceptional ease. And those moves frustrated opponents and prevented them from landing significant blows. Except for Shane Mosley got one in on him. Remember that? Yeah. Floyd ate it though. Yeah. Shane caught Floyd. What was that, the second round? Yeah. Floyd got a beard on. That showed it right there. A lot of people would have been down from that, down and out. But what made Floyd special wasn't just his defensive ability, but the way he maneuvered his opponents inside the ring. Great ring general, Floyd Mayweather. His ability to counter adds to his defensive abilities. It makes him one of the greatest defensive fighters in the history of the sport. Now, like I was saying, Floyd's success and fame doesn't only come from his defensive skills, though. His strategic approach and technical skills also helped establish him as a boxing legend. You know, combining his superior footwork and ring generalship, Floyd possessed the ability to render even his most powerful foes powerless with his knowledge of movement and positioning in the ring. You know, he's a perennial pound-for-pound king when he was boxing. Used his footwork, stayed off the ropes, out of corners, always kept the action at the center of the ring. That's ring generalship in a nutshell right there. Now come forward and aggressive punchers like Manny Pacquiao and Jose Luis Castillo, power punchers like Miguel Cotto and Canelo Alvarez, and rough brawlers like Arturo Gatti and Marcos Maidana were no match for Floyd's fluid footwork. No match. Floyd befuddled all of it. Yeah, Nicolini. I forgot about him, Trump. Yeah, Nicolini was that was his nickname, the Untouchable. He was on here, Trump. Yeah, Nicolini's on here. Yeah, Nicolini Loesch. That was his nickname, the Untouchable. Yeah. I didn't forget him. And he's right up there with the other three I named too. Yeah, that was his nickname, the Untouchable, Nicolini Loesch. Okay. Next up is Floyd Patterson. Yeah, Floyd Patterson. One of a product of the great Cuss Yamato. Remember, I covered Cuss a couple weeks ago. Had 2 profiles that week. Jay Hardcore requested Cuss, yeah. And Floyd was a Cuss product, Cuss Yamato. Floyd Patterson, there he is. Yeah, he was mentored by Cuss Yamato in the peekaboo style and exhibited commendable head movement, right? Now, Floyd was vulnerable to knockout punches, despite his fast footwork, okay? He was chinny, yeah. But he used a unique punch called the Gazelle punch. Now, this punch involved shuffling and throwing a left hook. And this punch enabled him to cover considerable distances, okay? Shuffle and then throw the left hook. Now, he displayed phenomenal hand speed, kind of like Muhammad Ali. Now, while Ali was known for quick punches, Floyd was famous for his lightning fast hooks and crosses. In one fight, Floyd lasted 7 rounds against Ali. Now, the fight ended because of an injury to Floyd, to Patterson's left eye, okay? Now, he did have great movement, dominating the ring with his skilled techniques. He made a lasting impact on the sport, Floyd Patterson. Yes, he did. Now, we're going to talk about the great Willie Pep. The Will o' the Wisp, Willie Pep. Definitely one of my top defensive fighters. Willie Pep. Here he is. Now, he was famous for his defensive boxing skills. You know, when you say boxing, defense, Willie Pep got to be one of the first names that come to mind. He had great footwork, moved his head well, and he had quick reflexes. His nickname, the Will o' the Wisp, comes from his elusive style and effective counterpunching. Many people considered him one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time for 2 very distinct reasons: in his incredible footwork. And like I was telling you earlier, one of his most famous sayings was, "He who hits and runs away lives to fight another day." Okay? And this phrase shows us just where Pep's head was when it came to defense, okay, and movement. Now, his excellent footwork stood out when he fought Jackie Graves. He showed off his trademark footwork and defensive skills against Sandy Sadler. Fought him 4 times, lost 3 of them, but they were good fights. And Sadler stopped him one time. That shows when even the great defensive Willie Pep, he fought this man 4 times. So, that shows no matter how good you are, if a guy see you that many times, he's going to figure you out. He stopped the great Willie Pep, okay? The great defensive fighter, Willie Pep. Now, Pep always dodged powerful punches, and he was a good counterpuncher. And he always displayed his defensive talent, confusing opponents with his clever move. He made use of lateral movement, utilizing the entire ring to confuse and befuddle his opponents, ring generalship. He also used his unorthodox footwork and erratic head movement to develop incredible combinations and patterns that wowed the audience, wowed the fans. And Willie Pep was often so elusive that he would cause most of his opponents to stumble into the ropes as they tripped over their own feet. And he often made opponents look silly and amateurish in the ring with his great footwork and defense. Willie Pep made guys look silly in there. Here's Rigondeaux is next. Guillermo Rigondeaux. Okay, lights looking good. Oh, 3 o'clock already. Now, Rigondeaux might not be the most exciting fighter, okay, but he's certainly known as one of the most technical, okay. Nicknamed Al Chacal. Now, he was a former world champion, and he's a product of the famous Cuban amateur boxing program, okay? Came out of the Cuban boxing school. So that shows he had legit boxing skills and was trained in the proper way coming out of there, right? Now, he won back-to-back Olympic gold medals and 7 Cuban national championships during an amazing amateur career. So you win 7 national championships in Cuba, amateur. You had to be bad because that Cuban amateur system put out some great fighters. Yeah. A lot of them never turned pro. And he is also famous for his excellent footwork and defense, which gave him impressive elusiveness. His ability to pivot and create angles made him a defensive genius, okay? And as a fighter, Rigondeaux has no equal when it comes to footwork. Expertly maneuvers around the ring, running circles around his opponents. And he's constantly a step ahead of whoever he's in the ring with. He's been one of the toughest puzzles to crack throughout his boxing career. Now, he showed impressive footwork and defense in his fights against Nonito Donaire and Rico Ramos. He was fast and had fancy footwork, making it hard for Donaire to hit him. In his fight with Ramos, Rigondeaux dodged punches easily and showed off his defensive skills. He also demonstrated his ability to create openings and effectively counter in both those fights. That was Rigondeaux. Next is Sugar Ray. I did these in alphabetical order. This is not like best to worst or anything like that. Just alphabetical order. Next is Sugar Ray Robinson. Now, Sugar Ray is known as one of the best boxers ever, okay? And became famous for his graceful and smooth movements in the boxing ring. And his footwork was crucial to his fighting style. Helped him move quickly around opponents and gain advantages. Sugar Ray's exceptional lateral movement distinguished him from other fighters of his era. Okay. His most noteworthy fights took place against who else? Jake LaMotta and Gene Foreman. And he showed off his speed and footwork through all the 6 fights against LaMotta. He always outclassed the tough competitors. Robinson's iconic left hook delivered a conclusive knockout in the final fight, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Remember that? Yeah. Jake wouldn't go down, though. And the last man on the ring generalship list is Sweet Pea, Brennan Whitaker, one of my top defensive guys. Then we're going to talk about defense, okay? And look at some great defensive fighters. A lot of these same guys are on there, but a few others, okay, on the defensive portion of the show. Brennan Whitaker always gave his opponents a hard time. Struggled to hit him due to his brilliant defense and agile footwork. Always could dodge punches, very good counter puncher, very accurate too. He showed very impressive skills in his memorable fight against Oscar De La Hoya, which many spectators felt that Whitaker won. And his defensive brilliance frustrated and outclassed the legendary Mexican boxer Julio Cesar Chavez, which they called it a draw. Now, he didn't lose, but that was still, that draw was one of the biggest robberies of all time. Okay. He clearly won that one. Dominated it. And he got it was a draw. He didn't win it, but he still got a lot of recognition from that fight. Now, defense. Now, it's no secret or question that defense wins championships in sports. How about in the sport of boxing? Yep, in boxing, solid defense is a major factor. Okay. Let's look at some of the good defensive fighters. I'm gonna move you over there out of the way. Everybody smashing on the like button. Oh, your likes are looking great. Okay. Okay. First, we're gonna go way back there to my era that I love. Sam Langford. Now, ESPN called Langford the greatest fighter nobody knows, primarily because he never secured a world title. Okay. You know, back in that time, a lot of black fighters didn't get world title shots, so ESPN calls him the greatest fighter that never won a world title. You know, like I said, this is due, speculators say this is due to the extremely popular Jack Johnson's refusal to fight Langford. Okay. And many people thought Langford was only 5'6", 185 pounds, but a lot of people thought he could beat Johnson. But he never got the opportunity. Never got his shot. Sam Langford. This is just going to be a real little short profile. Talk about these guys. Roberto Duran. Surprise? Yeah. Roberto Duran. Now, he gained a reputation as a brawler, but he's also known as a boxer puncher. He could fight skillfully when he needed to and exchange aggressively at the drop of a hat. Roberto Duran. Okay. Give me for one more. Yeah, a lot of people think of Roberto Duran more offensively as a brawler, but he was a good defensive fighter too, and a good boxer. Roberto Duran. James Toney, king of the shoulder roll. There's JT. or Lights Out? JT or Lights Out? It's Aunt McQueen's. One of Aunt McQueen's favorite fighters there, James Toney. Now, James Toney. Now, Toney is known for slipping and rolling with punches to avoid absorbing the full impact. Arguably one of the slickest moves in boxing. Trading or swaying a punch gives a fighter great opportunities to counter. But unfortunately, not every fighter has the timing to pull off such a defensive move. But Toney was one of the best at it. Okay? Lights Out. James Toney. Gotta go back to the top of the slide display. Everybody okay this Tuesday afternoon? Got Lomachenko and Kambosos. I don't even know who's on the card. I know one of the Maloney brothers, but I can't figure who else. Lonnie Lee in the building. Wow, Lonnie, you must have worked some overtime today or something. But it's better late than never. This is about ring generalship and defense. Defense is part of ring generalship. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. We're talking about a few good defensive fighters. Salute Lonnie Lee. Okay. Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes. There's Larry, the Eastern Assassin. That Larry Holmes. Now, Larry Holmes. Now, the jab is an absolute must for any serious heavyweight. And Holmes had a tremendous jab. And he beat Ali, Norton, and Jerry Cooney because of that great jab he had. Larry Holmes. Stanley Ketchel. Old school fighter. Called himself the Michigan Assassin. Stanley was born to Polish immigrants in 1886. Now, if anybody would see Ketchel fight, he would kind of remind you of a Manny Pacquiao of his day, okay? He was a middleweight, and he often fought heavyweights. Had a boxer puncher style, okay? And he beat some fighters who outweighed him by 30 pounds or more. Stanley Ketchel. Another good defensive fighter. Jack Dempsey. There's Thomas Hill. What's up, Thomas Hill? The mayor of YouTube. Gave me two of my nicknames, okay? Thomas Hill gave me the box story. Thomas Hill JBT, that is. Gave me the box story. And he gave me the, then I got another one, the regulator. And plus the guy that ducks the old school show. Remember that one, T.O.? I forgot the exact name, but it had something to do with the guy that ducks the old school show. And the regulator. Okay. Thank you, Thomas Hill. Hashtag JBT. Welcome to another episode of Cast Sports the Box Storian. We are talking about ring generalship, and now we're talking about defense, some good defensive fighters in our sport. Jack Dempsey. Yeah, Jack Dempsey. It is Jack. Yeah, Jack Dempsey. These are just little short profile on him, that's all. Now, Dempsey was a rare once-in-a-lifetime fighter. And guess what? He one of them guys where his offense was his defense. He became one of the most popular boxers of his era because of his aggressive style, which pleased his fans. And he was one of the big five in sports, right? In the 20s, you know. along with baseball player Babe Ruth. Harvey Jones was a golfer. Red Grange, the football player, and it was one more. Slipped my mind. Jack Dempsey in boxing, Babe Ruth in baseball, Harvey Jones in golf, Red Grange in football, and it was one more. I can't remember the fifth one. But Jack Dempsey was one of the big five, of course. And he was the one that really made boxing popular in the 1920s. Yeah. Dated and married movie stars. Not a movie star. Movie stars, starlets, I mean. Plural. Okay. Dated and married a few of them. Jack Dempsey. And his offense was his defense. Yep. Marco Antonio Barrera. There he is. There's Marco. Now, you would think he was misplaced on this list of best defense because he was legendary for being in some of the biggest brawls in boxing history, remember? But however, he put on a boxing clinic against Naseem Hamed, the very dangerous Naseem Hamed. And he had one of those fighters that had the rare ability to change his style as he got older. Okay? And that's what made him so great. Okay? He adjusted. Made his career last a few more years by that adjustment. But yeah, you would say Marco Antonio Barrera, what is he doing on a defensive list? But yeah, the man had some defense. Go back and Google his fight against Naseem Hamed, took him to school. Okay, Marco Antonio Barrera against Naseem Hamed. Yeah, he belongs here. Mm-hmm. Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. There he is. Joe Louis. Yes, he was. Now, how did you get that in there before I even said Joe Louis? Joe Louis was greatly underrated even after meeting Max. I got something in the way. Oh, there we go. That was nuts. The political scene that was happening back then. Yeah. Trump, how did you had that in there before I even said Joe Louis, man? What, you got ESPN or something? Get it? ESPN? Trump got ESPN. But yeah, the political scene was something. The backdrop of World War II was involved in it. And I told y'all last week about the story where before his second fight against Smelling, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt called him to the White House and told him how important it was for him to win that fight, So he had a lot of pressure on him. And he didn't play with his food. He got Max out of there in the first round in that second fight. Yeah. So you are correct, Trump. The political scene back then was crazy. Yes, it was. Yeah. Oh, you get it out, Booker? Yeah. ESPN. I got ESPN. Nah. Okay, now Joe Louis holds the world record, 25 consecutive title defenses in heavyweight. Like I tell you, not just the 25 defenses, what he was doing inside of them. Because, 23 of them were stoppages. 15 in the first 5 rounds, 6 in the first round, and the man was fighting 5, 6, 7 times a year. Remember? And then he took some years off and went to the war and came back and picked right up where he left off at. Okay. So you got to look at what was going on during them 25 title defenses. That's what makes it amazing. That's why I call Joe Louis the greatest, because those 25 title defenses were greatest type stuff. He was doing greatest type stuff in them. Yeah. Only 2 went the distance with him in 12 years. 2 people went the distance. And that's still the longest reign for all of boxing, 12 straight years. Only one ever to be champion for an entire decade. Now, my man, what's his name? Ricardo Lopez was champion for the entire 90s, except for a few months. And the only reason he wasn't for those few months is because he vacated his belts and moved up. He was champion at 105 from 90 to 98, right? And then he dropped his belt in 98. And then a few months later, he became champion at 108. So he was champion for the entire decade of the 90s, except for a few months. So Joe Louis does have company, okay? Now, Joe Louis was a clean, living, honest fighter, okay? Because he was coming in behind Jack Johnson, and, they was, his handlers and managers, everybody made sure that he wasn't going to be another Jack Johnson. He was a clean, living, honest fighter. And he was rejuvenating for boxing. Because when the time Joe Louis came around, boxing had a bad reputation for fixed fights and gambling, okay? And Joe Louis was a breath of fresh air for the sport. Yeah, Joe Louis. Ronald Winky Wright, not Cass Sport. Ronald Winky Wright. Okay. Appreciate everybody rocking with me today. Okay. Ronald Winky Wright. Now, he was freakishly good. Guess what? His arm span was longer than his height. Isn't that something? His arm span was longer than his height. And Winky was built for defense. Peekaboo boxing guard allowed him to work behind a seemingly impenetrable armor. Because of that long arm span. Now check this out. When Winky put up his guard, his elbows went all the way down to his waist. Okay? From the peekaboo. Okay? He had all that covered. Not many people can put their peekaboo up. Sure, your head is covered, but your body's gonna be open. Not Winky. Winky went in the peekaboo, he was covered all the way down to his waist. Okay? That's what I mean by freakishly good. Yes. He had his body, head, everything covered. Just from that peekaboo style. Winky Wright. Yes, he did. That's amazing. All right, stand up, everybody. The Rock. Rocky Marciano. Of course, the only heavyweight to ever retire undefeated. 49-0, 43 knockouts. I ain't got to say no more. And the owner of Suzy Q. Anytime a man name his right hand, he got to be bad. Okay? It knocks out everybody in championship fights. Now, one went the distance against Ezra Charles, but he gave Ezra Charles a rematch and didn't knock him out. So I guess he said, Ezra, I didn't knock you out, so I got to get you a rematch because I knock everybody out in my title fights, and he knocked him out in a rematch. The Rock. The great Benny Leonard is next. This is the great Benny Leonard. Poured back around my era. I mean, I wasn't in that era, but, I love that era. I ain't that old. Okay. Now, his nickname was the Ghetto Wizard. He was on the Cash Sports all-time top 10 list. All-time greatest fighters. Top 10 fighters of all time. Benny Leonard was number, I think he was 9, but he was in the top 10. Okay. That's a great nickname to the Ghetto Wizard. Now, he learned to fight on the streets of a Jewish ghetto. And when he went pro, he quickly gained notoriety as a highly skilled boxer with superior defensive ability. Benny Leonard. Now, the great Henry Armstrong. Told y'all about what he did. This man fought 31 times in 2 years, okay? 20 times in 38, 11 times in 39, and won all of them at a time where there was only 8 weight classes. He was champion in 3 of them at the same time and missed being champion in half of them, 4 by a controversial draw. Just think of that. 8 weight classes, this man was damn near champion in half of them. And he was champion in 3 of them. Okay? And ESPN ranked him number 3 on the 50 greatest fighters of all time. So did Cass Sports. Cass Sports all-time top 10 list. Armstrong was number 3. Only 2 in front of him was Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay. And in the early 1900s, like I was saying, there was fewer weight divisions, and he was champion in 3 of them. Okay, Henry Armstrong, the great Henry Armstrong. Manny Pacquiao, just talked about the Pac-Man. Everybody smashing on that like button. Yes. Okay. Manny Pacquiao, Filipino icon. Now, while some people would contest Manny is more of an offensive fighter, his defense is underrated. Okay. He used to dominate larger fighters. And that was directly attributed to his hard punching and ability to reduce the amount of punishment he took. Okay. Defense. Manny rarely held. He depended on his footwork and sidestepping motion to avoid taking heavy punishment from larger fighters. Yeah, Manny dominated a line of bigger men. Okay. Came all the way from, I think he started at 108, junior flyweight. Went through 8 weight classes. Now, Amanda Serrano got 7, and she's still active, so watch out, Manny. And Thomas Hearns, actually, he went up 5, but he actually went up more pounds than Manny. Manny went up like 43 pounds total. Hearns went up 50. But Manny was going through weight classes that was only like 3 pounds apart. That's why he has more. Hearns' weight classes he was jumping from was more widely spread apart, okay? But Hearns went up 50 pounds. But Manny got the record for 8 weight classes. But Amanda's right behind him with 7. And Amanda's still active, so watch out, Manny. Amanda might get that record. I don't know, though. She might. She's still active. Jack Johnson. Now, Jack Johnson, I got a bone to pick with him, man. He used to fight for the colored championship, where black fighters weren't allowed to fight for the regular heavyweight championship. But when Jack Johnson got the regular heavyweight championship, he wouldn't fight the same black fighters that was holding the championship he held. And then guess what? When he lost the regular heavyweight championship, he went back fighting those black fighters for the color championship. Come on, Jack. But he was a great champion anyway. Came from Galveston, Texas. And he fought in the era, late 1800s, early 1900s. Boxing was different. It was like a more patient approach. And Johnson would wait to capitalize on his opponent's mistakes. And sometimes people would call him a coward because he was so cautious. Okay. Got that bad rap. But Jack Johnson. Roy Jones Jr. again. Like I said, I'm going to repeat some of the same fighters over. Roy Jones Jr. again. Yeah, like an actual shield album, right? Yeah. Talking about Winky, right? Yeah. Yeah, Winky, man, he could put up his hands, cover his head and his body from that stance. Not many fighters can do that. But remember, the man's arms spread was longer than his height. You know, when he put his arms out, longer than his height. Bud might be close too. Bud got a long arm span too. But Bud is a little taller than Winky too. Roy Jones again. Okay. Roy, like I say, he was the fastest fighter of his day. I don't know how he did this, but he once knocked out Glenn Kelly with both hands behind his back. He was the best defensive fighter of his era because of his speed. And sometimes, because of his athleticism, he almost seemed superhuman to the fans watching him fight. Yeah. Joe Kawasaki. These are just some all good defensive fighters. We was talking about ring generalship today. Defense is part of it, you know. You want to move your opponent around the ring and dictate the action, the pace of it when you exchange. And yeah, defense is all a part of that. Defense, footwork, movement, you know, punches. Just control the action in the ring. But Joe Kawasaki called himself the Pride of Wales. He had a rap on him because he always wanted to fight at home all the time, yeah. He retired undefeated, 46-0, super middleweight. Remember, Rocky was the only heavyweight. Kawasaki was at middleweight. He retired 46-0. Some people claim that boxing analysts claim that Kawasaki was faster and quicker than Roy Jones. And when they finally fought, Kawasaki put on a clinic after being down in the first round, but it was an older Roy Jones. It wasn't the Roy Jones. And I think he beat B-Hop too. But, you know, it doesn't say older Roy Jones or B-Hop on his record. It just says he beat him on his record. You know, the great Gene Tunney. There's Gene Tunney. 3:30, wow. Got The Voice coming up in 1.5 hour. Just do boxing, The Voice. I'm going to take you right up to his doorstep. Then we're going to go on in there and see what The Voice building about today. You know he got something good coming up. So make sure you jump on over there with me. Okay. Gene Tunney was known as an extremely skilled boxer with superior boxing ability. He beat Jack Dempsey 2 times. Remember the notorious long count fight where Jack Dempsey knocked Gene Tunney down, but he wouldn't go to the neutral corner. So Gene Tunney just stayed down, you know. There's no telling that he wouldn't have got up if the count had started, but, you know, if they're not counting, stay down. You know, get as much recuperation as you can. But that was a long count fight between Jack Dempsey and Gene Tunney. A lot of people said it was fixed. That was in 27, I believe, 1927. Next, phony B-Hop. Great fighter, but a phony person now. I noticed when Ryan beat Devin, B-Hop and Oscar was the first ones in there at the post-fight press conference. But when Ryan lost the Tank, they were nowhere to be found. Oscar talking about death threats. And if Ryan had lost to Devin, they probably wouldn't have been nowhere to be found. But he was a good fighter. He's one of the most skilled boxers of his generation, of his era. He was the first man to become undisputed in the 4-belt era. Yep. One of the most skilled boxers of his generation too. He defended this title 20 times. Which is a record at middleweight. Okay, Joe Louis is 25, is at heavyweight. B-Hop had 20 times at middleweight. Yeah, that's the record. 20 consecutive title defenses. Okay, yeah. I'll do my best. Just do. Al Booker says, yeah, he got old, Roy. Yeah, he got old, Al Booker. But, you know, on his record, it's just going to say he beat him. It's not going to say, you know, old. So, yeah. But, yeah, I agree. It wasn't, you know, prime B-Hop or Roy Jones. Yeah, but B-Hop has the record at middleweight at 20. The record for entirety of boxing is 25, Joe Louis. There's Wilfred Benitez. He's the youngest ever champion. That still holds to this day, 17. Mike Tyson got it at heavyweight, but Wilfred was 17 when he won his first championship. Of course, he ended up losing it to Sugar Ray. But the 5th king, but only 4 kings in the deck, so, you know. Yeah. But Wilfred fought all the 4 kings except Hagler. Yeah. And if Juanita hadn't took Sugar Ray downtown for child support, Wilfred probably would have been the 4th king because Sugar Ray wasn't going to box. He was going to school. But when his endorsements disappeared, he decided to box. So So if Juanita hadn't done that, Wolford probably would have been the fourth king and probably would have fought Hagler. But from Puerto Rico, born in New York. I could have put him on, but did I have him on the New York? I believe I did. Yeah, that's weak. He's the epitome of the term boxer puncher. Not only did Benitez have great defense, his aggressiveness was off the charts. Just, you put boxer puncher in the dictionary, just put that picture right there beside it. Okay. Epitome of the term boxer puncher. Wilfred Benitez. Juan Manuel Marquez, the man that we thought had killed Manny in there. Remember that knockout? Manny's wife was crying. Manny was standing over there under the ropes, not moving. Manny should have stopped at the trilogy. He went to that fourth fight and he got destroyed by Juan. And I thought Juan, I think wasn't it a draw or something? I thought Juan won that. What did it end up? 2-1-1 for Manny? It should have been 2-2. Yeah, because Juan won that one they called a draw. I think it was a draw in there, yeah. But the last one, he won the last one and put Manny lights out. Referee didn't even have to count. And he was probably the most elusive Mexican fighter. He is the king of fighting in a telephone booth. That describes about boxing close in the center of the ring, the telephone booth. Using sidestepping motions to turn your opponent. Marquez was the king of that. Big Supreme in the building. What's up, Big Supreme? And Melanin Queen 27 in the building. What's up, Queen? No doubt, Big Supreme. Yeah, Benitez was the fourth king for sure. You're 100% on that. But salute to Melanin Queen 27 and Big Supreme in the building. Yeah, we was having a discussion about ring generalship today. We were talking about the defense part of it and just looking at some good defensive boxers. Ooh, I'm on the back of the page again. Melanin Queen 27 and Big Supreme put me on the back of the page. I write down everybody. When I start getting 100, 200 people in here, I'm going to have to stop writing everybody down. But, Juan Manuel Marquez, king of fighting in the phone booth. Okay, he loved it. And he was a master at counterpunching. And no doubt, one of the best Mexican fighters of all time. No doubt. Top 5 for sure. Juan Manuel. Top 5 for sure when it comes to Mexican fighters. Juan Manuel. Is he in the Hall of Fame yet, or has he been retired long enough? He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, for sure. I don't think, has he? He should. What is it, 5 years? I think he's been out 5 years. I'm not sure. But yeah, he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt, Juan Manuel. Next is Sugar Ray Leonard. There he is fighting Hagler. Now, in the 1980s, Leonard was named Boxer of the Decade. I gave it to Julio Cesar Chavez, but you can't be mad for Leonard either. All the Four Kings fights. He was in the most, because it was 9 total Four Kings fights. Sugar Ray was in 6 of them. And he also won the most. He won 4. Oh, he's already in there, Big Supreme? Okay, thank you. I thought so. Yeah. I knew if he was eligible, he should definitely be in there. First ballot, yeah, Juan Manuel. No doubt about that. Yeah, but Sugar Ray was Boxer of the Decade in the 80s. I thought it should have been Julio Cesar Chavez. But, Sugar Ray was a good selection too. Widely considered one of the greatest boxers of all time. Style was called Too Sweet to Beat. But he got his nickname Sugar from this guy. One of the Olympic coaches told his trainer that this kid you got is sweet as sugar. And then, so of course, with his first name being Ray, you know they're going to add that Ray to it, Sugar Ray, because of the great Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah, that's where his nickname came from. And that was long before it was great when he got that. Sugar Ray Leonard. Couple more. We got like 20 minutes before the voice starts building. Okay, so I'm going to take you right up to the doorstep. Next is Muhammad Ali. Again, you know, I had him in the other phase of what were we doing today? Ring Generalship. I had to look at my notes. So I'm old. Yeah, Ring Generalship. And this is the defense part of it. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Ali was a great defensive fighter. Okay. He was the best at knocking somebody out while going backwards. You know. And he invented the rope-a-dope, remember? Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Ali going backwards to knock you out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sugar Ray Robinson. All great. These are just all great defensive fighters. And he was named greatest boxer of the 20th century. Okay. By the Associated Press. That's a high praise. And he's argued to be the greatest boxer ever. He had power in both hands and just had a fluid delivery. And I told you about his footwork and movement a little while ago. Remember? And then just a couple more. Sweet Pea again. You know he got to be on it near the top for defense. But y'all know who number one. You know who you haven't heard yet. You heard Floyd, you heard Sweet Pea. You know who my third one I talked about. Tell you in a minute. Yeah, nicknamed Sweet Pea. He was a very slippery southpaw. His defense and steady offense gained him world recognition when he was named Fighter of the Year by Ring Magazine. He was 25 years old. Part of that gold medal crew in 1984. One of the best Olympic teams ever. A lot of people say 76, but I think 84 was right there with them. They had Pernell Whitaker. Evander Holyfield was on there. Holyfield got cheated. Told you about that. Mark Breland, Steve McCrory. There was a couple more, but I can't think of them right now. But 84 was a fire team. Sweet Pea was on that team. Then Floyd. I hadn't said Floyd yet, but Floyd ain't number one. Floyd, Mayweather. Him and Sweet Pea is about even. He was the best defensive fighter of his era after Sweet Pea left. Okay. Mostly known for his counter-punching speed, accuracy, defense, shoulder roll. Retired, 50-0? Now, Ricardo Lopez was 52-0. But Ricardo Lopez had a draw, so I guess Floyd looked at that draw as like a blemish because Ricardo Lopez was 52-0 without that draw. Floyd would have been 53-0. But number one is the Will o' the Wisp, Willie Pett. Okay, the great Willie Pett. Arguably the best defensive fighter ever. Okay, had a 26-year career. Number 4 on the Cash Sports top 10 boxers of all time, Willie Pett. Only ones in front of him was Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, and Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay, that's Lofty Company. Pett was number 4. 26-year career. He had, get this, 241 fights. 241 professional fights, that is. Not including amateurs. Only lost 11. Okay. That's less than 5% of his fights. Okay, the 241 he lost less than 5% of. Okay. There you have it. Ring Generalship. Okay. Still early in the JBT day. We got The Voice coming up at 4. We got Jay Hardcore back in the Hangout at 8. And we got the Mighty Rides podcast at 9, closing it down. And going to Rides podcast, you might see Devontae Tank Davis, both of his coaches in there. Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis in there chopping it up. I'm not talking about being up there being interviewed. I'm talking about being in there chopping it up with the chat, man. Yeah, on any given day. Okay. So don't forget those 3. Oh, wait a minute. Is Remo still in here? I didn't forget today, Remo. I'm gonna put the link in because we're supposed to get I almost forgot. I finished right perfectly on time. We're supposed to get the hashtag Let's Talk Fashion people. Remo's still in. Or anybody. It's not just for Remo. Anybody who wants to chop it up for the last 15 minutes, hit this link and come on up. But if Remo is still in here, we can get a preview on hashtag Let's Talk Fashion. We haven't had it in the last 3 weeks. Remo been ducking me. I don't know why. 1 week I forgot. But he is at work, So, have to consider that. I'm going to put the link in anyway, though. Anybody want to chop it up for 15 minutes? Not just for Remo. I'm going to put that in. I appreciate everybody rocking with me on this Tuesday afternoon. We got Pro Box tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow's show going to be yet. It's going to be one of those ideas Remo gave me because I got to follow that fire. Hashtag Let's Talk Fashion on Wednesdays. So I used one of Remo's ideas on Wednesday. He gave me a whole bunch of them. Okay. And put the link in. Yeah, but I almost forgot again. And then we got Pro Box tomorrow. I'm going to preview the Pro Box cards tomorrow. But I appreciate everybody rocking with me once again. Great supporters in this JBT. Because you're only as good as your supporters. If you got great supporters, you're going to be great. And I definitely have some great supporters in here. JBT. Just boxing talk. That's all it is. Okay. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what we do over here. Then the hangout, you get everything. You might find out what you had for dinner, what you had for breakfast, what you had for lunch. And the Friday night hangout is off the chain. It got robbed one time. The Unboxing News came in there with a mask on. Robbed the Friday night hangout. Yeah. The Unboxing News. Our own The Unboxing News came in there with a mask on one Friday, man. Yeah. Here it is. Here's the link. But we got like 15 minutes before the voice comes on, and you know how he does it over there. He builds and builds and builds. But I'm going to be back tomorrow with a great Remo idea. Anybody else got any ideas for shows or profile on Friday? Put it in the chat. I like saying that. We're going to have to get a t-shirt made up for that. Put it in the chat. JBT. But Thursday is going to be a history of boxing on Japan. Because remember a while back I did histories on a lot of different countries. I forgot Japan. I did Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba, the Philippines, the United States. Thursday is going to be Japan. And then the legendary Salvador Sanchez is Friday. Don't miss that one. I know Trump ain't going to miss it. It was his idea. For the thing. Remo must be gone. But yeah, anybody want to well, we're all members of the JBT already. I was gonna say want to join it, but we already all in it. Yeah. Okay, Al Booker. Oh, good one. Okay. Okay. That's a good one, Al Booker. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm writing that down right now. That's what I want. Appreciate that, Al Booker. Yeah. Al Booker says, you did bring generalship. What about going in depth on the scoring? Yeah, I can do that. In depth on the scoring. That'll be next week, one day. Get that together this weekend. in depth on the scoring criteria, I can do that. I already got that written down somewhere. Evolution over time. That's a good one, I put. Yeah. Give me something to do. Evolution over time. Right, because once I close it down, I can't get the chat anymore. Willie Pep is coming up, Big Supreme. Yeah, Sandy Sadler. Oh, where did I rank Sandy Sadler? Sandy Sadler would probably be maybe in the late teens, Big Supreme. Somewhere in the teens. Yeah. Sandy Sadler was nice. He beat Willie Pep 3 times. Yeah. He sure did. The great defensive Willie Pep. He sure did, Big Supreme. Big Supreme knows his history. Yeah. He beat him 3 out of 4 times too. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do Willie Pep too. I got a bad memory. Who did I say I was doing Friday? Salvador Sanchez. The next Friday is Sonny Liston, and Willie Pep will be the following Friday. Willie Pep will be 2 weeks from Friday, Big Supreme. Oh, did you say you wanted? Oh, you were saying that Willie, Sandy Sadler did knock him out. Oh, he got him twice? Ooh, I did not know that. Big Supreme knows his history. I'm learning too, see? I did not know that, that I knew he had knocked him out once, okay. Yeah, Sadler, 15. I'll say 15. Close to the top 10. Yeah. Yeah. But he knocked Pep out twice. And Pep was a great defensive fighter. To knock him out twice. But I guess they fought 4 times, so he learned him. Where would you put Sandy Sadler at, Big Supreme? That's a very good question about Sandy Sadler. Very good question. He's not too far out of the top 10 for sure. I'm gonna do a profile on him soon too. Yeah, but I'm gonna do that next week, Al Booker, your show. Between 10 and, yeah, that's exactly where I got him, Big Supreme. Right in that range. Yep. You can tell when somebody know their boxing. Yeah. Yeah, Big Supreme. I got him right in that same range. Yep. 10 to 15. Not too far out of the top 10. Yeah. Sandy Sadler, yeah. Very good fighter. Yep. I love that era back around that time. But I'm learning. I did not know he knocked Pep out twice. As good as Pep is one of my top defensive fighters. If you get him out of there twice, you're doing something. And Sadler did it. Yeah. But yeah, 10 to 15 is exactly where I would put him. Yeah. And we're gonna have I'm gonna do something on the Willie Pep and Sandy Sadler fights too. Early next week. Take a look at them. Each fight, break them down. Yeah. That would be a very interesting show. Appreciate you, Big Supreme, and Al Booker for these ideas. And we're gonna get ready to go check out The Voice in a few minutes. But I appreciate everybody for rocking with me. Another Cast Sports tomorrow. Another historical show. And also the Pro Box group. Getting Pro Box this week. We didn't have Pro Box last week. I think it's this week, yeah. Another Pro Box week. We're gonna look at who's on the card. A lot of people sleep on those Pro Box cards. We're gonna take a look at who's on the card. Look at their records and everything and the matchup. Preview it a little. Yeah. Usually sometimes maybe like 4 fights. Yeah, we're gonna look at all of them tomorrow. Pro Box. This is a Pro Box week. Because I don't remember seeing no Pro Box last week. I'm trying to see real quick what Remo had in here for me. Get an idea on what's happening tomorrow. He said he emailed it. What's wrong with this phone, man? I can't get into my Gmail. But yeah, we're winding down another cast sports, getting ready to go into the history books. Yeah, he had it. He had his number, Al Booger. Yeah, and he was a great defensive fighter. That's like Florida Sweepy getting knocked out twice. You know, saying Willie Pep got knocked out twice, man, because he had that same kind of defense, maybe a little bit better. I'm serious. So Sandy Sadler had to be a bad man. They fought 4 times. Sadler won 3 of them. But I learned something today from Big Supreme. I knew he had got him once. I did not know he had got him twice. But wow, that's quite an accomplishment. But yeah, I would put Sandy Sadler right there where Big Supreme had him between 10 and 15. I said about 15, but I wouldn't be mad to see him a little higher. Wouldn't be mad at all. But we got The Voice coming up in 5 minutes. I'm getting ready to get out. Oh, there it is right there. I just seen it. The list Remo gave me. I can tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow. Where did it go to? Now it disappeared. Here it is. Oh, no. That's what I sent him. Oh, here it is. Got it. Boxing highlight, Gross and Gates, a couple of others. Okay. It might be on Oh, these are some good ideas. I think it's going to be on boxing equipment tomorrow, okay? All about the equipment like the gloves, mouth guard, cup, proper boxing boots. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be on boxing equipment. Wednesday is always a Remo idea since I got to follow behind that. Fire your hashtag, let's talk fashion every Wednesday. That's a hard job to do. So I'm going to use the idea that Remo gave me. But let's see who was in the building today. Okay, we had Big Supreme in here today. Salute Big Supreme. I learned something from Big Supreme, and also got some ideas for a couple of shows out of his comments. Might take a look at the Willie Pep, Sandy Sadler fights next week, and then I'm gonna do a profile on both of them coming up in the coming weeks. So thank you, Big Supreme, in the building today. And then we had Melanin Queen 27, one of the queens of the JBT. Salute Melanin Queen 27. The mayor of YouTube Boxing, Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Appreciate you for all the nicknames, T Hill. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Salute to Lonnie Lee. Coach Thomas Morris in the building. You're the personal trainer. You better holler at Coach. Ronnie Lott did. Just do boxing, The Voice. Coming up in a couple minutes. Told you I'm going to take you right up to the doorstep. E-Class was in here earlier today. Salute E-Class. Mike Grimm, salute Mike. Let's Talk Fashion was in here. Hashtag fire hashtag Let's Talk Fashion coming up tomorrow. BN Boxing News, another fire JBT channel. He doesn't have a set time, so turn your notifications on to hit all because you want all of that fire content. Al Booger was in the building. Gave me a great idea coming up next week on the scoring and some judges and stuff. I'll get it together. Bruce Gass, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute Bruce Gass. Mike Masick, always in the building. Salute Mike. Tim Layton, hashtag JBT. The Walking Boxing Encyclopedia. And Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. Salute Ray. And Miss Cash, hashtag JBT. The Executive Vice President of Cast Sports and the brains behind the operation. Definitely not me. Couldn't do it without Miss Cass. So salute to Miss Cass, everybody. Okay. I think she's still in the building. But another Cast Sports is now going into the history books. Okay. I appreciate everybody for rocking with me today. Really appreciate it. And remember, it's early in the JBT day. We got 3 great shows coming up. Just Do It's coming up in a couple minutes. I mean, a couple minutes. Told you I'm taking you right to the doorstep. then I'm going on in there. And Jay Hardcore back in the Hangout at 8, and the Mighty Rise podcast at 9. And they're gonna close the day down, turn out the lights, and close the door. I appreciate everybody for rocking with my growing channel. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 with boxing equipment. Okay? And everybody have a good day. But I'll see y'all in the Voice, in the Hangout, and in the Rise podcast. All coming up. All JBT channels. Just boxing talk. That's all it is. That's sports. Everybody have a good day. So salute Aunt McQueen. I didn't even see you come into the building. That's attentive Aunt McQueen from Casual's Corner. You have not watched the fight until you watch one after watching a Casual's Corner. I'm gone for real this time. See y'all.